Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Digeeta, and today we are here with a quick understanding of a newbie's guide to creating their own website from WordPress.org, and in simple and easy steps, I'd like to tell you how that can be achieved easily. I've created many websites, even over WordPress, and there are a few steps that one kind of misses out and gets confused about. So, this is just a practical guide to help anybody in need of some assistance while they're setting up their first website or blog, right? So, before we begin with the steps, let us just quickly understand why do we need a website. Although I'm sure in today's time, one already knows the necessity of a website. But just to reiterate, I think a website is going to give that credibility to your business, or let's say to your resume if you're making an online website to talk about yourself or your small business. It gives that reputation and credibility, which is very crucial to survive in the business world. Facebook or social media alone doesn't cut it, right? So many businesses ask this question, that do we still need a website if we're active on Instagram and Facebook, etc.? The short answer is you absolutely do need to have a website. Um, and the sheer number of people who just spend a few seconds on a Facebook page itself says that one needs a larger presence, at least on the web, and that only a website can give you. Website will also give you the chance to show off your service or product in the way you want it to be portrayed. Um, unless you have salespeople, and even if you do have salespeople, they will not 24 by 7 be available to market your product, which a website would be able to do. Also, in today's time, affording a website is pretty inexpensive, and just with the easy, quick guide that I will be talking about here, you get a fair understanding of how easily one can go about creating a website on their own and starting off with your journey with your blog, or owning your own website. Um, to be able to build and also create a loyal customer base, at the end of the day, you should be having your own website, because tomorrow the social media pages or their business models could change, or they could start charging for a set number of leads, etc. So it always makes sense to have your own mother website, and then kind of go about talking about it on other social media platforms, right? So, with that background in place, let's quickly get on with this. Um, so, here, what I've done is I've created a mind map on MindMaster. This is one of the digital tools that I like to use a lot, and it can kind of give you that space to figure out what you plan to do or intend to do. In this case, we're just discussing these ideas, so I've put it on the mind map. But even in case of your own business discussions or strategies, you could definitely brainstorm by using one of these apps, these tools, right? So, in order to begin on this journey, one needs to have a domain name. That's number one, primary most objective. To purchase a domain name, we also need to take a few steps back and understand that there needs to be a certain amount of research done before you go ahead and buy your domain. A domain is the name of your website. Like, for example, it could be anything.com, abc.net, or .org, or .com, etc. So that particular entity is your domain name. So in order to create that story or journey for your visitors or your buyers and people who would be searching for you, do make the research online as to what would be an ideal domain name for you. And there would be a plethora of ideas available online. So please make that search, do your own homework, and then go ahead and purchase a domain name. Um, there are many websites from where you could go ahead and purchase your domain. I will just name a few over here. There is, let's say, a GoDaddy.com or name.com, namecheap.com, right? So there are many such domain providers, domain name providers, and you just have to go ahead and type in the name with the .com, .net, .in, .org options and see what are the charges that they have, and go ahead and pick your choice, right? So that is your step number one. Step number two is your hosting account. Okay, so what is a hosting account? Hosting account is basically the place where your domain name would be nested, right? So for example, if you live in a house, in an apartment, the apartment would have a number to it, and that number would be, for example, the domain name. But the building, the structure itself would be, for example, the hosting account. So the domain name would rest in the hosting account. So therefore, you would need to go ahead and purchase a hosting account which would be hosting your domain name. Again, these are you could go ahead with the same names from where you've purchased your domain. More often than not, they would be providing hosting as well. Uh, but a good practice would be to go for hosting account providers who specifically are very good with what they do. So there is, I could name WPX.net. Um, Even cheaper options are there, which is, let's say, a Hostinger or a Bluehost, and there are many more names. You could simply go online on Google and check and purchase a hosting account from them, right? And then you would need to go ahead and add your domain to the hosting account. Also, what you would need to do is point your domain, if you have not purchased it from the same hosting, from the same company, from the same account. You would need to point the domain name to your hosting account, hosting provider, and there would be a couple of backend records that you would need to look at. One is the A records, there is the C name, TXT, etc., which would all need to be updated. Uh, of course, you have your hosting account providers who would be able to do this at the click of a button, and you could certainly take their help to make that necessary update, or else you could go through any of their tutorials online on YouTube and get it done yourself. Um, some of the good practices here would be, let's say, if this is the first time around that you're creating a website, make sure that you get your DNS updated on your laptop from a public DNS to a Google DNS or Open DNS. This would just help with the user experience when you're browsing online. Also, there is this website which is into DNS, from where you could go ahead, put in your .com name, your domain name, and check the health of the site, right? So it will tell you, let's say here we're talking about those records, A record, C name, TXT. Into the NS will tell you if each of these records are appropriately filled, or if there is anywhere they find that there is a issue that needs to be highlighted. They would do that, and you could go back and make the necessary change at your end. um, Moving on to the third critical step is uh, starting to build your website. And this is the non technical part, which, with a little help, you could easily do it. If you have in your mind what is the kind of look and feel you would want to give to your website, what would be the theme, and would you want it to be something very specific to a resume for your personal CV, or if you're creating a blog specific to that theme. All of that, once you are up on WordPress.org, you would get the themes there. There would be a lot of free themes to choose from when you're starting off. And of course, the paid options would give you a lot of customization options to it. And you could go ahead and take your pick. The plugins are the vital part here, which would help you to inbuild some of the very critical aspects to the website, whether it is your analytics, your Facebook pixel, and even your anti-spam, plugins, etc. So, if for this video, we will not go ahead into the details of the plugins, but we can continue about specifically on the plugins in a separate section. So you could also check and explore the options yourself. There will be a detailed guide to each of the plugins. And to start off with, you wouldn't need a lot of them, but there would be a few critical ones that need to be included in the website. Moving to the fourth point is your Google Analytics in Search Console. I have mentioned it here because it's absolutely vital that you incorporate the analytics and Search Console right at the start of your website creation, so that you're well aware of uh, where and how to kind of begin the journey of your website. Where have you started getting, let's say, your initial number of views and traffic from once you start putting in content into the website, right? And with a very few simple steps, you could easily incorporate your analytics code into your website. And lastly, you have the email address, which is absolutely crucial for any website today. I would recommend that you don't go for a Gmail account here, and try to have a matching professional email address as per your domain name, and go ahead and update your MX records, which would be over here somewhere, and have your hosting account providers updated for you, right? So that's basically it. It is not going to be a cakewalk, but it's definitely not going to be as difficult or complicated as one thinks it to be, perceives it to be, right? So, wish you all the best in this journey of creating your first website on your own. And thank you for watching, and thank you for being a part of the video. Please leave your comments or any questions that you may have on this topic, and we would definitely get back to you. Thank you so much.